welcome to this episode of the Corporate Escapists TV show and podcast. I'm your host, Christine Innes. So excited. This very beautiful, and I'm going to call you magnetic electric change maker, the wonderful Amanda. So welcome to the show, beautiful.
Thank you so much, Christine, and someone who is so electric yourself and so much energy. I really appreciate those words. It's great to be here and be part of this wonderful environment that you're creating. Thank you.
Oh, well, I'm so blessed. And most people will know I get very carried away because I just want to find everything about it, like out about everybody. But I'm just going to pause. I'm going to let you take over for a moment, introduce yourself, and then we're just going to have a very beautiful conversation.
Okay, fantastic. So, my name is Amanda van Gils. I'm a professional artist with more than 25 years of exhibiting history, and I'm the founder of the Artist Business Lounge, which is a coaching / resources platform for visual artists. I launched that in 2020, and it's part of a much longer journey about the realities for artists going through art school and turning that into a sustainable art business. I've also worked in corporate for a long period of time doing consulting and leadership coaching, and that's actually created a lot of that combined with my experience as an artist and my absolute curiosity and passion for the arts has led to the creation of the Artist Business Lounge. So
Mm.
that's, I don't know if there's anything more you would like me to say about
No,
myself at this time.
I love it because I think, like, if we just break it down. So first of all, like being an artist, I actually think like yes, like all of us can go and start a business. But when you are putting your art on display, it for me, I actually think that is an extra level of courage because it's your interpretation of something. And I mean, everybody has their own opinions, but I think art is so criticized so much more than anything else.
Yeah, I think it definitely adds a layer. What's been really interesting for me is that working with other artists, and of course my own experience, there's a whole host of visibility issues and concerns, but when I work with other small business owners and so on, I see there's a lot of correlations there.
Yeah.
But one of the things for artists is the marketing is a little bit different. The setting up of the business is a little bit different. And it's those, you can't just copy and paste generic business advice, small business advice, and have a successful art career. There's actually different things that need to happen. And that was lacking. Frankly, it was really lacking in Australia. When I came out of art school, there was none of that around. So I think the being critical, we hear about, small businesses. We all get passionate about our small businesses. I know you are. I know I am, like really passionate about it. But the thing about artists is they don't try and decide which niche. They don't make a different, where am I going to go here? They tend to be artists for life. And so their business failure rate, it's not the same. It's a completely different dynamic, a different discussion because it comes from a very, very specific place for each artist. So
Mm.
it is quite unique.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like obviously, I mean, I've worked with so many different small businesses, along my journey, and obviously different business coaches as well.
Mm.
And one thing I've found is like everyone can say, well, you've got to follow this, but we also forget like there's an individual inside that is trying to create this business. I always say we're trying to create a legacy, with it. And I think sometimes we forget what the legacy part, I think we miss
Mhm.
that sort of like what do we want to be left and known for, and especially with artists like and like writers, all those sorts of things, that legacy gets to live on so much longer than the person as well. So it's actually like combining the business plus the legacy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also to do with how you want to live. So who do I want to be? And I often say um, there are many easier ways to make money than being an artist. So I'm not saying that artists shouldn't make money, quite the opposite. I'm saying that they should, but it's not the driver. the art is the driver, and then we work out how to build that into a money. Whereas some other small businesses, and not all of them, but many of them, are about, is this business going to be profitable for me, is the first question. Which
Yes.
again is a totally fine question to ask. But there's many, many different ways of running a small business, or a big business for that matter. And there's lots of commonalities, lots of tools that you can use, but you need to be able to tweak to that person's life and interests and values. And for me, being able to have an online business that supports creatives is so, so important. I actually started working online, you may not believe this, January 1999.
Wow.
And when COVID hit and people started talking about, oh, I'll have to do the coaching online instead of in person, it's like, oh, finally I get to do that.
Yeah.
So for me, this is operating online, communicating with people anywhere, not just in my city,
Yeah.
that's just been part of my DNA, and it links into my values of creativity and freedom. So I've built the business that actually suits my personality. I used to have artists, when I was leading a artist supporting artists forum, and say, oh, you're really business savvy, why don't you open a gallery? Like, I have to physically go somewhere and stay there between certain hours every day.
Yeah.
Not my kind of business, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I have been obviously, I come across so many different people, and I find a lot of entrepreneurs are also have that creative side as well. But then they just sort of think, well, I don't know how to blend the two together. And that's why I think what you're doing is so important, because like, I mean, most of us have this creative outlet and we're thinking, oh, we can't make money from it. But the reality is, if you work with somebody who's already done it, the opportunities are actually a lot more in your favor, but also too, you get to learn from, well, I always say to people, find somebody who's done it first, because you're going to learn so much more. But then you've created this beautiful community to really help support them as well, so they can actually see the proof that it's actually happened. And I think that's what's also great of what you do, like the community part that you've created for it.
The community part is core. That's actually what my business is. I have a signature program. It's called the Success System Program. One day I'll rename it to something better, but that's what it's called for now. And we got started, and it really is, I use a model. It's mindset, skill set, tool set, because the reality is I work with a lot of artists who really know they know how to have an exhibition, or they know how to create their work, but they get in their own way by not doing some of the things that they need to do, and or by not being aware of the tools that are there that we know about running small businesses. We know about the value of a mailing list and automations and how all that sort of, those bits and pieces. But the point that you said about other people being creative, I mentioned that I've worked in corporate in a very different field, and at one point I had an Instagram account that I called the Accidental Executive, because I got offers and I got promoted, and the number one reason was because I approached everything creatively. I didn't actually seek things out, but it was that being able to take that problem solving, creative, how do I bring this into being and communicate that was actually became my strength in that world. So I think that when you know how to merge them, and I work with some artists now who run their own businesses in other areas, and I say, so the things that you're doing there, do you do them for your art career too? And they go, huh, no, I don't actually. Okay, that's where we go. So there's, sorry, I'm running off a little bit,
I
but
love it
I get
though.
so excited. So there's
Yes.
community is at the core, but I do mindset, skill set, tool set. So it's the beliefs and unpacking those, and not just stopping at the first layer, but really unpacking what's getting in your way. And then it's the skill set. What are the things that I actually know already that I'm not leveraging? What are the things that I don't yet know that I need to know? And then it's the tool set. What are the things that, if I have these systems or these processes or these foundations set up are going to make my life easier and not have me be busy, overwhelmed, frustrated that I don't get to create. Because I've seen some people say, oh, for artists, you have to market 80% of the time. And that is nonsense. If you're not making art as the majority of your time, you're not getting to, you need to balance them out a little bit better. So that's the other bane of my existence is bad advice. Advice
Yes.
from people that haven't done it. It's like
Oh, yes.
80% of the time, yeah, you want to show up. Let me show
Yeah.
you the systems that help you do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in my own journey, and I'd love to know about yours because I would share things to family, friends who A, don't even have a business. And they're telling you, oh, you should do this and should do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. So now I actually stop sharing because I'm like, oh, look, love you. You can support me, like all that sort of stuff. But your advice, unless you've actually been there and done it, it's not warranted because we just get inundated with so much information. And we need to actually follow people who are actually doing it, that are actually, choosing the pathway and have been there, done that, and have actually had solid proof as well.
And people who can give us insight. Not
Yeah.
everyone is your audience. So,
Yeah.
and one of the things that all business owners can do a little bit too much, including artists, is pay attention to people who actually know less than you do
Yeah.
already. And this is one of the things that's really important. And I say this to artists all the time. Who's the expert on your work?
Mm,
You is the answer. So they
yeah.
don't, this is about how do we build up what you know? How do we expand what you know? And how do we leave that rather than feeling not decide because someone, to your point, has made a comment that's not terribly helpful. Their opinion doesn't matter more than your opinion does.
Oh,
Right? They're not
absolutely.
your audience. It's like people talk about uh, one of the things, and everyone will know this, every child who decides that they want to be an artist, their parents will say, but you can't make any money being an artist. And almost none of those parents know a single artist.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just a myth.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but what's happening is people are saying things on shaky foundations. They don't have
Mm.
evidence. They don't have information. They don't have insight. You can ask me, can artists make a living? I say, yeah, it's actually really hard, but let me show you some of the people that do.
Mm.
And instantly the evidence is there that it's possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, start paying attention to yourself and to people who know, and just spend less time if it's less sharing, if it's less listening, if it's more, okay, that's very nice. I'm glad that you think that, and now I'm just going to discard that thought. Or that was an insight that's given me a different idea. I'm going to think on that more.
Mm. An ex, I call him an expert because I really adore all the information that this person was, sharing. And they're basically saying, like, when the information comes into you, think it like Tinder. Either swipe left or you swipe right. Like, is it
Yes,
actually going to serve me a purpose and give me something or not? Like, to do it that way. And now every time the information comes in, I'm like, oh, am I swiping left or am I swiping right? Because
that's gold. Can I use that?
please, please, yes. Because I think it's so valid. I mean, I've had people along my journey going, you'll never make money, who magazines are dead, how could you run a podcast the way you do? And I'm like going, but it's working. Like, I think a lot of people try to fix something and they forget that your fundamentals, if they're working, stay with it. Because why change something and reinvent something if it is already working and works for you? Because what works for me is not necessarily going to work for the other person as well. We are
Mm-hmm.
individuals, and our business is also individual to us as well.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And there are, I said before, I wouldn't want to run a gallery because of how that would make me feel. But there are other people who are brilliant at it,
Yeah.
who love it, who the idea of sitting in front of a computer and talking to people online and creating the kind of resource that I do, their eyes would roll back in their heads.
Yes.
We have to find the things that fit for us
Yeah.
and then make that distinction about, is this helpful for me or is it not helpful for me? And what's currently working, don't tip the baby out with the bathwater. What's the bits that I can tweak? What are the bits that I want to salvage? Sort of, you can Marie Kondo your business sometimes. Does this bit bring me
Yes.
joy? That one, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why I have an accountant because like looking at the finances side of things, oh, it does not bring me joy
Oh,
at
totally.
all.
I have an accountant and a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
There are some things that you just should outsource, and
Yeah.
those things are the things that you don't enjoy and
Yeah.
that you're not an expert in,
Yeah.
or that you just have no desire to do.
Exactly. Exactly. I know most people ask about what's the best piece of advice that you've ever received, but I want to ask you, what's the worst piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, how long have we got? I've actually given myself some pretty bad advice. So, the Artist Business Lounge could have been born several years earlier,
Yeah.
um, but artists might not spend money, and I've got a network over here, and I'm pretty good at this. So, my first business, um, well, I've been self-employed a bit, but in this stint, my first business was leadership coaching. And I love leadership coaching. I love working with those people. But you know what I hate? The Facebook group nonsense or all of the marketing. So I only ever do that word of mouth now, referral. But so I spent a year, because I had those voices that I hadn't yet worked through, going, because I'm like, oh, I'm equally skilled for both. And I didn't listen to what my heart wanted. I listened to the worry that was a money mindset scarcity issue.
Yeah.
I did that for a while. Sure, it made reliable money, but it wasn't as fun. And now I get to do other things. So instead of just that coaching, I
Yeah.
can do coaching. I have the program, but I also create resources. So right now, and it's only just being launched, I've created an exhibition pro GPT that is a custom AI writing tool
Wow.
for artists to prepare proposals, marketing, not generic AI, but really
Yeah.
crafted to support exhibitions. And it's like, I just get to do fun things.
I love it. I love it. What are some of the, like, if you could choose one big goal that you would have in the next 12 months? So if we're back here in 12 months' time, what are we going to be celebrating?
Mm. I would like my business to grow more. I would like the community, that I have a really tight community. Um, I like to see keep the same caliber, but I would like it to be bigger. That would give me a lot more freedom and help more. The more artists that are in the community, the
Yeah.
more that actually benefits the people in the community. So that would be something that to celebrate. One of the things, the business has taken me a lot more time to really get it steady than I expected. Partly because I may have, tossed things out. Oh, when I got started, everything just took so much longer
Yeah.
than it's taking me now. But it did keep me out of the exhibiting game for longer than I expected. And I've really had to. So normally I would have, I had one year when my son was only 5 and I had 6 solo exhibitions that year, which is just crazy. And I haven't had a solo exhibition for 3 years now because of
Wow.
all of the energy that goes into the Artist Business
Yeah.
Lounge. Um, I have one in December, so you know.
Yeah.
So in a year's time, I hope that that's actually more settled. That there's a
Yeah.
that I've just simply made more progress toward the thing that I've always intended to do, which is a balance between I love this business, I love being an artist. I actually get something different from both of them in terms of how they feed my soul. So I would have more of both of those things going on.
Yeah.
So I'm not looking for, there isn't some shiny something different. I'm already on that path.
Yes.
I've just
Yes.
been on that path a little longer than I expected.
Yes. Yes.
For it to all start working as I would like it to be. So in a year's time, I hope that I'm just saying, I'm still doing this, Christine, but I've got a bit more going on with it.
Yeah, and I can't wait. We're going to get you back in 12 months' time and we're going to have exactly like this conversation. And I can't wait to, celebrate because I think a lot of us think that we've got to have this, massive big thing. But I think sometimes what we've got to remember is it's actually the small aligned steps that we need to take to be able to make that happen. I have a quote that I created. It's dreams plus action equal reality because
Mm.
it's all great for us to be these visual people and have these big dreams. But if we're not taking that aligned action and it's every single day, you've got to do something towards it.
I reinforce this in my programs all the time. I've got a
Yeah.
very action orientation,
Yeah.
but alignment is really important. And it's the sometimes I use the metaphor of a ladder, sometimes I use the metaphor of a mountain. You don't get to the top of a mountain by simply being airlifted there. You get
Mm.
there by climbing up it, one
Yeah.
step at a time. And but you make sure that you're prepared. You make sure that you've got what you need for that journey. And yeah, sometimes the journey takes a little bit longer, but that's the only way to get to the top
Yeah.
is that one step at a time in the right direction. And to your point about aligned, because you can take one step and go around and around the mountain, you're never going to get to the top, but you use the same energy. So this is where the alignment comes
Yeah.
in. I've got my eye on there, but part of getting there is everything that happens here, it's being in that as well. It's
Mm.
not about when I achieve that, everything will be good. It's this is good. And now this is good. And now this is good. Now
Yeah.
this is good. That's where I'm much more
Yeah. Yeah.
focused.
Because I've been listening to a lot about like habit stacking, and I think that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
with
habit stacking is
goals.
great.
Like we forget to actually use that as part of our goals and to sink into that actual feeling like you were saying, because um it's so easy to go, oh, when I have this amount of money, when I have this amount of clients, when I've achieved this, my life's going to be perfect. Well, take stock of what you have right now because you've probably got more than what you actually realize.
Yeah, and we all know that gratitude is the foundation of
Mm.
everything. And if you're running away from this because it's once I have this, then it'll all be good, is classic running away from what you currently
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
and not valuing it. And often, and I see artists being quite successful and other and small businesses, and it's because they continue on their journey. And people talk about consistency and showing up. That doesn't mean I'm going to make 15 posts on social media every single day and bada boom, it's all suddenly there. It's I have a vision and I'm holding true to it, and I'm
Yeah.
acting in accordance with that. So habit stacking is something that I actually mention in my strategy workshops and goals too,
Oh
as
my
part
God.
of the yeah. So it's very aligned with the what's the vision look like, where am I now, what are the actions that's needed, and how am I getting in my own way, and some tools to help me get out of my own way. Habit stacking is one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love it so much. Now also too, you have just been in our current issue of Inspire magazine. We're going to pop the details so people can go and take a read of your beautiful article. And like as I said, like I think, you know, I mean, I'm all about stories, and I think when some people start to hear the experience that you've had, they start to then go, oh, there's that inkling, oh yes, it is actually possible for me. And this is why stories and having the podcast, the magazine is so important, and to having beautiful people like you come on and share it. So I'm so grateful for you to be able to share your story, and just to give that inkling, that a little bit dose of inspiration for somebody who's thinking that they may not be able to, but they actually can.
Yeah, and I'm so grateful that you have put in place these channels that allow people like myself to communicate more broadly and with people. Because something, as I say to the artists I work with, without marketing, the only people who know you
Yeah.
are the people who already know you.
Exactly, exactly. So much so. Well, I love what you're doing. I think what you offer is, I can't think of the actual word, and it's very rare that I am like stuck on words. So when I know that it's just like so incredible and yeah, powerful for people as well. I think being part of a community that gets you is so important. So anybody who is an artist out there who is a creative, please reach out to Amanda. We're gonna drop all the links below. But before we go, beautiful, I've got five just personal random questions that we ask our guests just to get to know you.
Let's see how we
Yeah.
go.
No. So, first of all, if you had some spare time, would you prefer to curl up with a book or to watch a movie?
Oh, I used to send people broke sponsoring me on the MS Readathon when I was a kid, books.
Books. Okay. Now, question though is that do you still prefer a physical book or have you converted to a Kindle?
Okay, I'm old with bad eyes. I need a Kindle. I
Okay.
love physical books, but I actually can't see them, especially not at 3 a.m., which is when I often do my reading.
Yes. Yeah. I do. I switch between the two. I've even tried audiobooks, but I can't do audiobooks. It's just
I've
something.
got this funny thing where if it's a business book, I want an audio book. If
Yeah.
it's just if it's fiction, then I prefer a Kindle so that I can read it. But if it's something that I really, really want in my collection, I'll buy the physical book. And sometimes I have one of all three.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But business books, Audible
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
where I go for that. Um,
Amazing. I love that.
I'm
Now,
more
if you
interesting.
were to travel to your dream destination, would you prefer to travel by boat or plane?
Plain.
Okay. And another question for you is that if you could, you're having a dinner party, you're allowed to invite one special guest. That one special guest could be from the past or from the present. Who would it be?
Oh, one? That's too
Just one.
hard. How many other people are at this dinner party?
Well, there's a few. Let's just say it's a table of 10.
Okay, so it's not just me. Right. Hmm. Oh gosh, that's too hard, too hard, too hard. But the name that popped into my head was Georgia O'Keeffe, and I don't actually know exactly why that popped into my head,
Okay.
other than her singularity of vision, her focus, and she was pretty cool. So I'm going to say her, though I know I'll get off this and think here's 20 other people that I wanted to tell you.
Yeah, it always happens. It always
Of course
happens.
it does.
It does. And if you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
Just wow, man. Um, Tenacious.
Oh, I love that. I love it. Amanda, thank you so much for being on the show today, beautiful. As I said, we're going to drop all of the details of how people can reach out to you. Make sure you
Terrific.
do. If you are creative, I highly recommend that you have a chat with Amanda because honestly, having somebody in your corner when you are doing business is essential, but somebody who has been there and done it as well is a game changer. So thank you so much, beautiful.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Lovely spending time with you.
Right. And for all of those who have watched today, make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button and leave all of your comments. And remember to live life to the fullest every single day. Love and light to you all.